Good morning, follow your brushers. This is an extra video today. I had been asked by my members in my group to talk about my Lebenzon brushes. And so what I thought I would do is talk about my brushes by completing this painting that I started yesterday. So welcome to Follow Your Brush, and thank you to my already friends who have requested this, members of my Facebook group. So I welcome you. I started this painting yesterday. If you didn't see that video, this is the reference photo. It's taken, it was taken by a friend of mine in Portugal, and just such a beautiful picture, and I wanted to try it. I started yesterday, and I was using my brand new brush from Tracy Lebenzon, which is the Wangi Goat Synthetic Blend. This is approximately, I think it's 1.5 inches of the bristles. Right now they're kind of spread out, as you can see, but when you wet them, when you wet the brush, it just comes to this beautiful point. Now today it's blue because that's what I was working on yesterday. So it does stain the synthetic brushes a little bit. Holds a tremendous amount of water in the belly of the brush, and it will paint like forever. It does not have a ferrule. Is it ferrule? Ferrule. Like normal brushes, like you would see, for instance, on a brush like this. The ferrule of the brush. He doesn't have that on his, and so it does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's really wonderful. The brushes, when he makes this brush, the bristles, he said, go down about 3 inches into the bamboo handle. And so what you're seeing is just a portion. You do, when you dry them, you want to make sure you dry them upside down like this, or on the side. To care for the brushes, you can wash with baby shampoo, just like you would your own hair. Take care of the brushes. And I just love this. The bamboo handle is so lightweight. For folks like me that have thumb issues and arthritis, this is just the ticket for me. So this is my new, it's not new to me because I've used this brush for many years, but this is a new one that I just got last week because my kitty cats decided to, I left it on the table, which was my mistake, and my cats decided to chew on it, which was most distressing. So I purchased myself a new one, and I just love his brushes, and we'll use them again and again and again and again, and they're my go-to. And also with this tip, I'll show you in a minute, the tips on his brushes are so excellent that you could even do detail work. So I'm back working on this painting today. And as requested, I'm going to go into these colors that I used yesterday, and I'm going to try to work on this painting and finish it up a little bit. Try to do a little bit at a time. It does have this mountain here that's got some green and some grays in it. So I did a little bit of my green. I'm using my Schmincke Hortum collection. This is the vintage collection on this side. But these are additional paints that I put in here that are from the granulating family, also from Schmincke. I'm going to come in here with some of this forest green to add to this mountain that I'm working on, because part of it is a little darker in spots. When you do paint, you want to be aware that where the, kind of let the shapes form, leave them, and just kind of still working on my greens here. paint is going to dry a little bit lighter, so you want to keep that in mind. If anything, I paint with a really light touch, and I think that's just because of the years that I've been painting. Even when I started, I was in the middle of surgeries on my thumbs, right and left. So I did continue to paint, but I painted with a very light touch because that's what I had to do. And I still continue to. So I kind of almost call it a whisper touch. It's just a whisper stroke of color. There is some darker colors down here in my mountain. I'm just going to kind of turn this sideways like this and bring in some of these darker colors that are in the rocks. By using the side of this brush, I can, it's almost like a dry brush technique, even though it's actually not. It's still, I'm just using more of the barrel of the brush to get those darker colors in there. And I am going to come back in with some of my, I have this neutral gray and blue mixture that I mixed up yesterday in my little ramekin jar. And it was really nice for the darks. And no, I didn't clean it out because I want to come back in and use the colors again, and all I got to do is reconstitute them a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and put some of these colors over top. Kind of mark where this is a rocky portion of my painting. And from yesterday, it does come down into here. Now back to my brush. I'm going to come back in here and show you how I can use the tip of this brush to bring in detail. Look at that fine tip. So this is another thing I really, really enjoy about Tracy's brushes is the tip of this brush. I can do an entire painting with just one brush with Tracy's brushes. And I really love that. I'm going to come down into, sorry, I'm froggy this morning. I'm going to come down into my mountains here, these rock ledges, and add some more definition to them. I'm going to switch brushes because we're talking about Tracy's brushes. This is his large, also goat hair synthetic blend. It's fatter, bigger in the, let me wet it. Bigger in the belly, holds tons and tons of water. Let's see if we can drip some here on my hand. The rest is being held in that brush. It just holds a lot of water. So you might want to keep your, I have these paper towels that I use that are also bamboo. You can also keep that handy to just kind of make sure, you know, you have the right load of paint that you want. I'm going to come back in here to this gray-blue mixture that I did yesterday. And I'm going to kind of glance here at my painting. And what I want to do, and I'm going to utilize the tip here, there is a very definite line of distinction here that comes down the side of this rocky cliff. And so that's what I'm going to use this brush for. I'm going to come in here and really indicate that with the tip of this brush. Look at how that tip is so, the fine line I can get with that. Isn't that amazing? So I can just put in fine markings here where this rock is without totally covering up everything. And I really like that. I'm using kind of a light, because as I say, it's kind of a light touch. It's kind of lighter, and then it comes down in here, and then it does get darker. I'm using my Schmincke. This is the natural gray, or neutral gray. And by laying in my darks today, I left the lights from yesterday. I can do this little, with the tip of my brush, I can do this little bit of rock, make a distinction here where these darker rocks are. And I know I added a lot there, and that's okay. I'm going to come back with my water and soften it out. Today I'm working, I'm not working wet on wet. This is dry on wet. Now you see, I came in with the tip, have a little bit too much water there, so I can use the water that's in my brush, see that? To moisten this without re-wetting the brush. Because this tip is so fine, I can come in here and make these little marks that the rocks show. And then I can use my brush for more water, because it's handy dandy right there in my brush. So this is my large brush from Tracy Lebenzon. LebenzonPaintbrushes.com. And if you use the code PAM at checkout, he had a discount that he was giving my followers. So you can try that and see if it's still effective. He might give you, you might find a pleasant surprise there and get a discount on your order. Some of this is darker in here, so I want to pay attention to that. This comes in very dark right here. So I'm going to come straight from my palette, but my brush has a lot of water. And I'm going to come in and just make that distinction with my darks today. And bring this down, because it comes down across the water, leaving this beautiful reflection of that turquoise that I was working on yesterday. So really, really pretty. This is my neutral gray, and I'm continuing to use that for my darks. There is a bit of light right there. And this rock kind of comes down this direction. Just trying to kind of watch this. And you see how this point is so delightful. This is the large Lebenzon brush. Okay, it comes down here, it's darker here. I'm trying to watch my values. But then there's also, this area is lighter. So I can come back in here with the belly in my brush and add some water and blend that out. So I'm covering that, kind of coming back and blending those dark spots that I put in there, but yet still preserving the light spots. And I could just do like everything with this brush. It's just really cool. Now, in my mixture that I did yesterday, for parts of this rocky portion, I did mix my natural gray with this deep blue for some of these rocks, because that's kind of the tone that you get. So I'm going to kind of put that in here and give a little bit of that blue sheen that's coming through here on some of these rocks. Rocks have been a nemesis for me to get them to look right. So what I'm trying to do is just follow the shapes that I see in the painting. I mean the photo reference. I'm looking for shapes. So I'm not necessarily thinking rocks. I'm just thinking the shape that I'm seeing on my picture. So this comes on down this way. And this is quite darker in here. But it does have some of this blue. So I'm going to add this blue to it and let that come in there. And then I'm going to have to come back to my lighter colors. But you can see where this rock formation is beginning to shape up and look more like a rocky formation. Some lighter colors down here. So this is my large brush. Let me come in with the side here and do some more of these textures. I left them white yesterday, and today we're just gonna lightly come and glaze back over these. So where the light that I left yesterday is gonna show up as a lighter texture on these rocks, and actually kind of give a cool picture and hopefully more realistic of what my rocks look like on this photo reference. So there's my large brush. Let's go to another one while I paint. I'm just taking you along for the ride here. I also have one of his synthetic brushes. This is not a new one. I have ordered this previously. And even though I like the natural hair, I'm enjoying his synthetic brushes as well. I just love Tracy's brushes. I'm going to kind of come back to this area that is lighter in color. I'm using the color that I already placed there. And come back in here and go back over with what the paint that I already laid down here just a second ago. I'm going to use my water to bring it out. So you can always use the water or the paint, the pigment that is already there, and just kind of add to it and even lift if you need to. Take some of that off. This needs to be a little bit lighter here. So I'm going to come in here and just lighten that up and add some water to use and bring out some shape to this rock. Is kind of, it's a big, obviously a ginormous rock formation that is right there. So I want to make that lighter and just show where that is. And let me bring in a little bit of this darker underneath. So this gradually is going to take form, the painting itself, as the more I go. And there's more rocks down here. Kind of lighter, coming in here and come across. And then I also need I need to beef up. Let me get some of this. This is the blue. This is the gray. Makes a nice neutral for some of these other rocks. And come in here. They're all different shapes and sizes. Now this is totally dry today, so this is more of a glaze going, or I guess a glaze or charging over what I did yesterday and letting some of this dry. This painting I'm going to have to do in stages to get it actually what I want. But I'm liking that. I do want a little bit more of this darker color over here. There are places where it does come in darker. So this is the synthetic brush, and as you can see, it also plays very nicely. I'm gonna wet it a little bit and use some of this color to come across. I don't always mix in the bowl, mixing on the page as well also works great. Mixing on your page, your colors on the page actually is kind of fun. You get a little different, these rocks come down this way. I do want to leave that one that is lighter. Just kind of looking for my darks and lights and where they might be. And kind of be true to that. Because if I get those correct, then the shapes of my rocks will actually look more realistic. So there's my synthetic brush from Tracy. This area is much darker in here. So let me just go and do that while this is still dark, still wet, I mean. Add some of this dark. This is that neutral gray. I am going to have to let it dry again before I come back in. If you like natural hair brushes, I know a lot of people won't use them if they're natural hair brushes because of concern for the environment and our animals. But I do want to let you know, I have this other brush by Tracy. This is a silver fox. But Tracy does not, he's also very environmentally conscious. What he does is he goes to estate sales, auctions, and he buys furs that have already been used and they're up for sale. And he uses those fibers for his brushes. This one is so soft. I can't even describe how soft this is. It's like wetting. When you wet it, it's just delightful. Also has a nice tip. It's so soft. It reminds me of petting my cat. Although my cat didn't get much loving after it chewed on one of my brushes. Not this one. This one's kept in a safe place, always. I'm going to mix up some of this deep blue. And I'm also going to add back in some of my, I'm going to add a little tiny bit of this turquoise in there because even though these are gray, oh, this is still wet, so this is just going to, these are kind of granulating, so that's what I'm going to get. I really didn't need to do that. I need to come down here to another area that is dry because that's what I'm wanting to do right now. And this part is rather craggy, as I said yesterday. So I'm going to come in here and also add some with my silver fox. Also a very, very beautiful brush. Some formation to this rock, so I want to try to put that in there, as well as over here. And there's some dark areas that come up this way. Then as they dry, you know, I can come back over. I can lift. I can add more. But this is his silver fox, also another absolutely delightful brush. This is just heaven to work with. I just can't tell you how much I enjoy Tracy's brushes. And he has been very generous with my community. Follow your brush community. I'm lifting now with wet brush, lift and dab. Lift and dab. Get some lift and dab and get some more water. So there you go. I'm not scrubbing. I'm just gently coming over this to where some of these lighter colors are. I'm just lifting, like I say, lift and dab. Lift and dab. Lift and dab. Then I'm going to let this dry again, and we'll see how it does. And then you can always come back in and make more adjustments as we go. I don't want to get down in here too much because that area actually is quite dark. So there you go. I'm not going to keep you, but you had asked, well, several people have asked about my brushes from Tracy. So here is my large, and I like the little hook on this because I can hang it on my light here in my studio and hang them to dry. This is my large. This is probably almost 2-inch bristle. Nice, deep, full bristles with a gorgeous tip that I showed you earlier. This is my silver fox, which is absolutely delightful. This one is probably maybe 1 inch. The bristles are so soft. When they're dry, they feel like I'm petting my cat. This is my synthetic. He has a lot of synthetics. If you're not comfortable using natural hair, there's my synthetic. And this is my all-around go-to, which is the Wangi handle medium brush with a 1.5 inch. That seems to be the my preferred length for my bristles. And you can find these all on Lebenzon-brushes.com, and I'll put a description in the box. But there's my brushes that I'm highlighting today from Tracy Lebenzon. Put the code PAM when you leave, and perhaps you'll get a discount, maybe 10%. I'm not sure what he might offer you, but he has in the past, and he's quite generous with my followers. If you're a member of Follow Your Brush, either on YouTube or online in my Facebook group. Thanks for watching, and I'll continue working on my painting today, but I wanted to feature my Lebenzon brushes as I do. Thank you as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye.